So hello and welcome to the virtual Agile meetup. Today we've got quite an exciting session, and it's the first in, is it 4 or 5 years that we've been running this? That we've got Kanban, and we've got a expert in Kanban here with us today. So we are quite keen to roll onto that, and there's going to be a lot of fun and literal games. Um, so I'm not going to take up too much more of our time, but essentially, if you've got any questions, then please raise your hand or put it in the chat as and when you have those. We do record this session, so if you're, uncomfortable with being on video, please turn it off. Otherwise, we'd love to see your smiling and enthusiastic faces. And the time box is 53 minutes that we've got left. We love to finish on time. It's really important that we have a good, healthy balance of screen time and actually being off the screen, and that's why we do this. So that's pretty much it from that perspective. Um, I would usually play this game at this point, but because we have very limited time, for those that are regulars watching this or with us today, the rock, paper, scissors pretty much, I think, a universal game that most people know how to play. If you don't, it's very silly. Rock, paper, scissors, and then you go one, two, three, and the paper destroys the rock. The scissors have destroyed the rock destroys the scissors, and there's multiple combinations in between, I think. But I share this tool at the Virtual Agile because it is a great way for decision making in teams. So you can use this in various different ways, whether it's with teams, whether it is with your leaders, whatever it is. It's a lovely little game to be able to play. And I play it maybe not every day, but I'd say at least 3 or 4 times a month. So when we were thinking and reflecting on today's session and what this means, this came to mind. This quote came to mind. Stop worrying about your people's performance. Start solving their problems that prevent them from delivering their best. And I think I'll just leave it at that and do a grand handover to Anjali, who is here with us today to talk to us about optimizing flow in a remote first world. We're all about virtual agile here. So without further ado, I will hand over to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you, Helen, for inviting me. Thank you, Ines, for both of you for inviting me to this community. Um, I love to actually engage with people from all around the world, and this gives me an opportunity to do that. If I was, if I could, I would be a citizen of the world. But for right now, I live in Tampa, Florida. So let me just share a little bit about myself. So I live in Tampa, Florida. I run a little boutique coaching and consulting practice that specializes in leadership and collaboration. I personally am a serial collaborator. For those of you who know me, I always tend to pair with somebody else to further a shared interest. And you'll see on the right-hand side of the slide here that some of the things that we've come up with. We love creating models uh, uh, that pull together our knowledge and our curated wisdom. I'm also a coactive leadership coach, so I do some professional and personal coaching as well. And I am a sustainability advocate. That's how I got to know Ines. Both personal and ecosystemic sustainability. And I wanted to share a couple of things that I do as heart projects because I would love to invite this community to join me on those as well. I am the originator and co-founder of Hit Refresh, which is a workplace well-being and resilience building community. And we meet virtually twice a month to engage in a well-being practice. I'm also a frequent host of The Week, which is a climate awareness to action program. And I host Heartstorming, a space for authentic sharing and deep listening. I feel that there's such a need for reconnecting with ourselves and connecting with each other. And this is a space that I create for that. So some other things that you can do and engage with me. But for today, we are here to talk about Kanban and Kanban, particularly for a remote first world. So I hear that this is a community of practice. So we're going to be doing some practice together. I have a couple tools that we're going to use as we engage with each other. The first being Mentimeter. And to connect to this particular tool, you can just go to www.menti.com and hit that code. I think there's also a link that we can put in the chat so you can connect to it directly there. If you're connecting via your phone, you can use this the QR code that you see here. And through Menti, I have a few questions as we go through this presentation that I'd love your input on. And so through Menti, you can offer that input. And when I share the slides with you, you'll have all of that collected wisdom captured in the slides as well. So that's the bonus. And through Menti, you can actually see all of the slides that I'm sharing. So easy screenshots. And then you can engage with each of them, sending a heart or a thumbs up or a thumbs down. As you know, whether it resonates with you or not. And the second tool that we'll be using is the simulation tool, which the link for that will be shared when we get to it. All right. So is everyone in Menti? Are you able to engage in that? All right. But before we do something in Menti, I wanted to share, uh, it may not come as a surprise to you all, because for many of us who are Agilists, probably our story is probably similar. But when I was first introduced to Agile, I was introduced to the Scrum framework. And that's what I practiced. That's what I coached. That's what I taught my teams. But I was always interested, and I found the Lean and Kanban principles and practices to be quite useful. And I'd encourage my teams to bring that into their way of working. But it was only not until this moment, this picture that's captured right here that you see, that I started to look at Kanban a little bit closer as a standalone option, a very viable and effective option for teams of all types. And this picture captures the day after I had introduced some simple Agile practices to a STEM set of STEM students. So I was invited as a mentor to an after-school STEM program. And these kids would meet every Saturday and work in teams to further a product that they were working on. And so the leader of this mentoring program invited me and asked me if I could share with them some very simple Agile practices that they could incorporate into their work to make them more effective at delivering their product. Now, I realized this was, I think, late 2018. I realized that they would only see each other every Saturday. So they would have to be able to work with each other on this product during the week. And, virtual tools like we have easy access to today weren't as accessible to everybody in late 2018. And so, I had to think of some things that I could share with them that could help. And what I found I was sharing with them was, hey, you know what? Let's make all your work visible. Let's find some kind of shared tool where all your work can be visible. And I know Trello was available. That was a free tool at the time. So help them set up their workflow in Trello and told them all of the things that you have to do. Let's make that visible on that board and make sure that you keep that up to date. Break up your big pieces of work into small, manageable chunks and make sure that each of those chunks at least is producing value for that end product or is creating something from which you can get feedback. Focus on a few things at a time and prioritize finishing something or moving something forward before you go start something new. And then if you ever get stuck, don't wait too long. Just pick up that phone, call a teammate, see if you can get unstuck. And if there's anything that feels like it's in the way of you doing your work, speak to each other. Keep improving this thing that I'm sharing with you. They loved it. This was the next day they had already created their Trello boards. They demonstrated it to me, and you can see the joy in my face about how they had so easily absorbed what I had shared with them. And I had told them nothing about roles, no prescribed roles. There were no prescribed ceremonies. There were no time boxes, no estimation, none of that. And as I followed them through their product delivery, I saw how this was really, really effective for them. In 2019, I had my first opportunity to coach a fully distributed team. And I started to notice some challenges that they're experiencing that my in-person teams didn't have. And 2020, when COVID hit, those challenges became very apparent with all of us who had to be remote first teams. So I'm curious, this is a virtual Agile meetup. So most of you are likely remote first teams or hybrid teams. And I'm wondering whether you'll still experience some of these challenges in the work that you're doing. So I have a list here. So use Menti to share what are the challenges that you still experience, and you can even order them in the order of severity of these challenges that you've experienced. So lack of visibility or transparency, is there the lack of alignment around not knowing who's working on what the status of something is, what new work is coming online. Are you all experiencing any communication gaps, lack of full context around the work that you're doing, the ability to quickly turn around and ask somebody a question and get clarity on something? So I'm seeing some responses here. It looks like decision-making bottlenecks are at the top. Workload imbalances. Yeah. So what I was seeing is that, with this lack of visibility, there were some people who were taking on a lot of the burden and some people were coasting. And I saw these workload imbalances most when with completely distributed teams, where teams from India or some teams that were on the eastern side of our eastern hemispheres were taking on much more of the load or spending much longer hours at work than their colleagues in the Western hemisphere. There was a lot of this workload imbalance. So I'm seeing there's some resonance with all of these, and I think with the tools that we have today, at least the lack of visibility and transparency has mostly been addressed. So when I saw these challenges, my mind went back to the STEM teams. And I thought, I wonder if Kanban is a great option for these virtual teams that are facing these challenges. Even if they were working with another Agile framework like Scrum or DAD, maybe they didn't have Agile at all. Maybe they were working in a waterfall system, or they had no system. I thought Kanban would be a great opportunity for all of those situations, particularly if Kanban is applied as a strategy. So I don't know if you're all familiar with the Kanban guide. It's a very simple couple-page document that's written by Daniel Vacanti and some early Kanban practitioners. And what they did is they took Kanban and they distilled it down to the bare essence. What is absolutely essential for this to be a Kanban system? To do something that we all care about, to optimize value. That's what we're all, as Agile teams, that's our goal. Optimizing value, creating the most value for our customers as possible. So in what they came up with, the strategy to optimize value, they say, is to optimize flow. And what do they mean by optimizing flow? It's about balancing a few things. And in the Kanban guide, they talk about balancing three things. Balancing effectiveness, meaning what's valuable to the customer delivered in a time that is time sensitive for the customer, making them successful at what they need to do. Predictability, meaning our ability to accurately forecast when we can deliver that value with some consistency and understanding that there might be some uncertainty involved. And the third thing is efficiency. Can we use our economic resources, which is our budget, our time, etc., optimally as we're delivering that value? And can the system be a continuous improvement system where we're always trying to maintain that balance and make these things better and better and better. Now you'll see in here in the balancing act that I have on the slide, there's a fourth one that doesn't appear in the Kanban guide, but my collaborator in Flow, April Jefferson, if you know her, she and I thought that there's something that's missing here. And the fourth one being sustainability. Can we continue maintaining this balance indefinitely without burning out people? So that's the whole goal with Kanban. Can we create a system that has these four things maintained in balance, and we continue to improve that? And so if we distill it down to the absolute minimum to be able to get to this, which is things that we all want, regardless of type of work or domain or application or mode of work, then Kanban is applicable for any type of work. There was a myth that Kanban is only for repeatable tasks like support work and the like. Well, if we have the bare essentials and understanding that these outcomes are what we all want, why don't apply it to any kind of work? It's applicable to any domain, not just software development. Great option for HR, for sales, for procurement, marketing. Any application, whether it is for a team, personal, a group of people who don't consider themselves a team, but each have to contribute towards creating something, or a portfolio of work, managing any of that, or any mode of work, whether it is co-located teams or hybrid teams or remote first teams. So while this is specifically talking about remote first teams, it's really whatever I'm going to share here today should be valuable to anyone working in any mode. All right. So enough of that background. Let's actually see. Let's practice it. Let's see how this manifests as we're actually engaging in a Kanban system. So before we start a simulation, I thought let's start with what we already know. As we start out that simulation, let's set it up with the information that we already know. So I'm asking you, what are 3 words that you associate with Kanban? So as we establish the foundation of our Kanban system, we can incorporate those 3 things. What are 3 words you associate with Kanban? Right. Flow, whip, finish. What else? Some policies. Limit work in progress. So the whip again. And somebody said flow as well. Okay. So some of these we can use to kind of set up our simulation and know that all of it is towards us establishing flow, right? So for this simulation, we are going to, I want to give you some instructions here. So we're going to be in breakout rooms, and we're going to run the simulation for 8 minutes. Our goal, of course, is to get as many done as possible, or finish as many of the work of the items that we're going to be processing, as many as possible. And we're going to use a driver navigator model. So somebody in the breakout room is going to be the driver, because the simulation is only one single instance that you're going to be working on. So you share your screen, and you're going to take instructions from the rest of the group who are going to be navigators. The navigators are going to collaborate on the decisions of how the work is going to flow on that board. Okay, driver, since you have control, it's very easy to make decisions on your own, but you really want to wait for the navigators to kind of engage in the decision making. So if you have an idea, voice it before you take action. All right. So let me show you what the twig game looks like. And if you can put the link in the chat, Helen, that would be awesome. So I'm going to just give you a lay of the land of this simulation, and then off you go to work on the simulation. So you'll see here this, no one mentioned board, but often we associate Kanban as having a board to visualize the work. And so this is a board that's visualizing some particular workflow. So there's some red work that needs to happen, some blue work that needs to happen, and some green work that needs to happen. And the flow is when a new piece of work comes in, it goes through processing of some red work, then blue work, then green work to get to done or finish. All right. And you'll see on these cards, there's some little squares that represent each type of work. So the top row is red work, the middle blue, and the bottom green. So you kind of know how much work for a particular type of work is needed for that particular card. Now you have some workers who can work on these cards, and we're going to call them meeples. So you'll see there's green meeples, blue meeples, and red meeples. Each of these meeples can work on any card. Of course, a red meeple is an expert in red work. So when they work on a red card, they tend to be much more efficient than if a green person, a green meeple, was working on the red card. So you can see here, I can drop any number of meeples on a card and any color meeple on a card. And just know that that particular type of work is most efficiently done by a meeple of that particular color. So to play the game, the Kanban is a continuous flow process. So we are actually coming into this Kanban system while it's in process. So you'll see there are some things that are already active. We're not going to reset the board. We're just going to continue on. So we're entering the system on day 43 of this work that's happening. And we're going to run the simulation to day 56. Now, in the 8 minutes, we might not quite get to day 56, so don't be disappointed. You have access to this game at any point in time. You can take this, play this after our session today, bring it to your teams, etc. So just know that don't feel too disappointed if we have to stop before day 56. All right, so for each day, you're going to drag the meeples onto the cards and hit begin work, and it starts one day of work. Processing of each of these cards happens automatically, all right? And at the end of a day, a card pops up with some instructions, so make sure that you're reading those instructions. There might be something useful in there to inform your next set of priorities. And like we know in our organizations, this options lane, which is where work is coming in, is your intake place. There might be some new cards that appear periodically. So you have to kind of take a look at it before you pull in new work. You also mentioned that you know about WIP limits. So these numbers right here on each of the top of each column is what we call work in progress limits. So we're limiting how much work can happen in that particular column. So this column says 3. So there's only a maximum of 3 cards that you're committing to having in that column. So if you want to bring in new work, you need to finish something before you can bring in a new card. Right now, we've not hit the limit, so we're okay to bring in 2 more cards here. Now, the WIP limit on the blue and red lanes, you'll see, are across the active and finished lanes. So this number applies to both active and finished. So even if you've finished 4 items and there's no space to bring in new, you have hit your WIP limit. Sound good?
Yeah.
So for the first round, we're not going to enforce any particular policies through the game. We're just going to play it with our current knowledge and kind of helping each other out. Just know that if there's new room and if something is finished, you're able to kind of pull it into the next column. One more piece of information that I want to share with you, though we're not going to go into analytics today. You might get curious and want to go into checking what this button means. But if you click on there and want to look at the analytics, you can. Just make sure that if you want to come back to the game, hit on return to Twig and not the back button. The back button is going to reset the game for you. Okay. So with that, let's go ahead and start our very first simulation. Let's put 8 minutes on the clock, and everyone we can maybe start the breakout rooms. And the three of us, Ines, Helen, and I, will be in the main room sharing our screen so you can see us play the game. So let's put it on for 8 minutes. And since I have it up, how about I be the driver and the two of you can be the navigators.
Excellent. Okay,
All
so
right.
I get the feeling that Ines has probably switched her light on because she was plunged into darkness. There she is. Okay, so 8 minutes. Right, Ines. Um, so I mean, I'm tempted to take the blocked card because I feel like that block card might need to be worked on as we work on the rest. So do you fancy putting a red one on the block card?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. And then maybe it's worth a green one, getting that last green one done.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's focus on finishing over starting. Um, remind myself of my own principles. Um, should we get the finished one to move over to the green column because that's done, and we could also get that going. Does that
yeah.
sound all
But
right?
okay, so silly question here. So the last one that we moved doesn't have any sort of green box. That means it will automatically get done.
Oh, no, those last white boxes, they need to be filled by the green guy. That's just the
I
last, they're
see.
all empty.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yeah,
Right.
good
Wow.
question. Um, and then should we get the finished red one into the blue box so
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
that,
that's a good idea.
And then we
yeah,
can put one blue in each, or can we use them all,
yeah.
or would we put maybe more people at once? I don't know. Don't listen to me.
Well, we could give this a go and see how many blue blocks and then reshuffle.
All right.
Is that, oh God, we're being very anti-agile here, aren't we? It's quite funny. What do we do? Oh, we got run meeple left.
Yes.
Should, should we unblock some work or should we finish value finishing over starting?
So, for example, the bottom left red card is kind of ready to move to the blue, but it can move. So we could move this one as is in the, yeah, okay. Oh,
Hmm.
what do you mean?
That's interesting.
I think that's a bug. I reckon when we
Put,
do begin
Yes.
work, it'll
we can
Yes.
put the red guy there and see if it does something.
Okay. We ready to begin work?
Yeah.
let's do it.
We already used half of the minutes discussing.
Yeah,
Oh
I know.
my God.
We need more time. Is that allowed, Anjali?
Like I said,
Okay.
we can always play this again. All right, so it has some instructions here. You've completed the first day. This window will pop up at the end of every day with event notification and reminders. Good luck. Okay, excellent. All right, we are on day 2. So what do we want to do now?
Oh,
Why is that blocked now?
blocked, isn't it? Should we get a couple of people pairing on that block?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
You want a blue person?
Yeah,
The bottom
let's
one, yeah.
The bottom one? Okay.
um
And what happens on the top left? Nothing's moved. Oh, potentially. Shall we put the red guy there just to unblock it
On the
too?
blocked?
yeah,
What do
Okay.
you
And then
think?
I think this,
yeah,
But
we move this one over here.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah?
cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's hit
Begin?
it. Yeah. Such a I love this game. Such a good game, isn't
Yay! Yeah, actually a
Nice.
very
But we haven't
productive
finished
day.
anything for the green guys.
it? Ah. Oh, but we did unblock. We did unblock one.
Oh,
Good
Yeah.
nice,
job.
nice. Okay, good.
So the green one's finished, some blue work moved, and we're on day 44. So lawmakers got creative. We need to incorporate fix 53 by day 53. Okay, so we have some time, but it needs to be done by day 53. All stakeholders agree that we will implement fix 53, so we've committed to it because we must comply with the new regulations. So we need to deliver that. All right, so now we have some new choices to make. What do we want to do?
All right. Well, let's get the finished stuff over to the next bit. just to
Good idea.
keep it clean.
So we could put the green guys there because that's their specialty, no? Or can you
You want to
shuffle
put
the
both
guys?
there?
Can you shuffle different colors and different things as well?
Yes, yes, we
All right.
can.
I don't know, Helen, you were saying.
Yeah, no, I think we can keep one green guy on the green, and then maybe with the blue stuff. I mean, fix 53. It's only 2 blocks each. It's tempting to bring that in, but should we finish some stuff so that we can?
Yeah, let's have one more. How many days passes? One every time. So let's have one more day like this, clear a little
Okay.
bit.
Oh no, imagine everything is blocked after this though. But yeah, let's do it.
So all the blue people on the blue ones?
Yeah.
Okay. And where do you want to put the other green person?
Let's
Or
should we
meeple?
unblock the red one? Oh, 3 people is a lot though, isn't it? To put on one card.
We could put also on the second blue because how many dots do they go through in a day too? Or it changes
It's
every
random.
time.
It is
Ah,
random. It's the dice throw, isn't it? I think.
mm.
We
Depends on which side of the bed they woke up that
Just to give
morning.
it an oomph, maybe.
Where? Which one?
The middle blue to save
The
the.
middle blue.
What do you
Okay,
think? Yeah, go on then.
let's just do it.
let's
Yeah.
do it.
Ah, they did. Green got on the wrong side of the big got out the wrong side of the
Mm.
bed, didn't they?
Oh, we got
Oh,
unblocked. Yay. So it was a good
nice.
choice putting someone on there.
Oh,
Okay. We have a new technology called chain block is propagating quickly at the moment. If what it promises is true, using this technology could mean an enormous increase in efficiency for us. We have decided to evaluate chain block to determine how much effort and benefit implementing it would mean for us. Okay, so I think there's some priority on chain block as well,
Can we
right?
do fix 53?
You pull
yeah. I
in
think
53, okay?
No, it's not too big, but you never know if it'll get blocked.
Yeah,
So one red each.
yeah.
one red each, okay? And we have this red that's finished, so we can move it to the blue.
All right,
And
because we use so much blue.
we have 3 blues finished, and we can only move 2 into the green. Which one should we move?
13 day. I mean, they've been waiting way too long for that, haven't they?
Yeah.
Okay,
And then the other one, because it's short and we could put one blue guy working on it.
Yeah.
on this one. Okay. Okay, so how do we distribute? We only have a few minutes left in our time box, so
Oh
let's get
no.
one more day work in.
Okay. Let's go all the greens on green, on at least one green, yeah. A
One blue at the
blue,
bottom, yeah.
yeah. One blue at the bottom of, yeah, exactly. And then uh we might as well get another blue on the blue.
Okay.
Ah, nice. Come on.
Oh, I can't, yeah.
All right, we got 4
Oh,
done in the time box.
Oh, one more
Didn't quite
day.
get to day 53. All right,
oh, it's
so
over. Oh.
it's over for this round, right? So, what do you think? Did you experience flow? Yes? No? Not sure?
I think we did. I mean, I'm sweating. I was like,
We got quite a few things finished. Yeah.
Yeah?
yeah,
Did it feel pretty good? Okay.
we could do better, but yeah, things did move through the system, and that's what flow is about, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
didn't just, yeah, yeah. And we didn't start a lot of things. We just tried to get things finished.
that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. But we didn't quite get to delivering on the couple priorities that came up. So in terms of effectiveness, if we had to just stop right there, we didn't deliver on those 2 things. Uh, we I don't know, we were fairly efficient, I guess. Maybe there's some improvements that could happen there. What about our predictability? We looked at our our end column, one thing took 16 days, one thing took 11 days, one thing took 13 days, and one thing took 14 days. Not too bad. It's pretty close to each other. But together, maybe there's some opportunities to make things even better. So, I know that none of you said no or not sure, but what could be improved? Like, what could we make better in that system that we just experienced? What got in the way of our flow?
Maybe skill sets. Oh, sorry.
Skill set? Oh, we need to pair people more. Yeah, so potentially that. Ines, what do you mean by skill set?
Meaning, can everybody be all the colors? That'd be great. So yeah, kind of in line with the pairing more. The other thing, I suppose, it not got in the way, life happens, but sudden priorities is very tempting to be like, oh, let's just do it.
Yes, they're distracting, right? And those random blockers, oh my God, when they pop up, they're a real pain. And it felt like, we were uncertain. We're not all on the same page about decisions. It took a little deliberation for us to come up with where do we place people, where do we place the meeples. So I wonder if there's some improvements that we can make to help with that, to make it feel like we are more in flow. So let's do it again. Let's do the simulation again. We're going to be again in the same breakout rooms, same rules apply, and 8 minutes for this upcoming simulation. But I'm going to provide some suggestions and some bolder goals for us. So we want to get as many done as possible. The last time we got 4. We want to get as many as possible. We want to reduce the average cycle time in that done column. So let's see if we can reduce that number. And we want to really pay attention to these new priorities that emerge and see if we can get them done. All right, so that's one thing. So our goal is a little more firm. And then let's make some policies explicit. So let's use the tool to help us, to guide the flow. So when we go into the simulation this next time, you can go to the gear, and when you click on the gear, they're going to get 4 options. One of them is to edit WIP limits. We're going to check that. Enforce WIP limits, maximize WIP limits, and use all workers. So it's going to make sure that we are following those policies, right? And the main thing is our ability to edit WIP limits now allows us to have fewer things that we need to pay attention to at any point in time. One of the primary laws that we look at in Kanban is called Little's Law. And Little's Law says that average cycle time is a function of the amount of work in progress and throughput, right? And so if you want to reduce cycle time, guess what? Perhaps if we reduce the average work in progress, that cycle time might have the effect in the direction that we want. So for this next round, we're going to reduce the WIP limits to 2, 2, and 2 and see what effect that has. And then a few things that I want us to pay attention to this next time around. Some information that is on these cards that might help us make good decisions. So if we want to make that average cycle time as short as possible, we might need to pay attention to some of this data. One of them is called the age of the item. So that's how long has it taken since the time that work was started to the current time. So elapsed time since that work was started to the present time is telling us the age of this item. The cycle time is this number. So when it gets to finish, that age becomes the actual cycle time, the elapsed time that it took from start to finish. And there's a piece of information that is really valuable for Kanban teams to know, which is called the service level expectation, or SLE. So if you look at our historic data and look at all of the work that's been completed and notice some trends there, we can actually we can project, we can forecast how long an item might take for us from start to finish. We call that the service level expectation. So it involves elapsed time and some probability. So we're going to use 85% probability. So if I go look at the cycle time chart, I'm going to see 85% of the items in our historically have taken 18 days or less. So that's going to be the service level expectation, the promise that we're going to make to people as new work comes in. We can tell them that it's going to take likely going to take 18 days or less. So we're going to keep that number in mind for making decisions. We want to make sure that we hit that or lower, right? So we have a few things that we need to be thinking about. So now with this new pieces of information, let's see how it affects our flow. So back to the twig game. I'm going to reset the game this time. So is everyone kind of in the breakout room, so we can start our simulation, right?
Yeah.
So again, let me put the time box for 8 minutes, and let's check all these. And this allows us to reduce our WIP limit here to 2. Now, because we're making some adjustments to our system while the system is actually running, we're not resetting the board, we're not moving everything back. We'll have to keep working until the system becomes stable again. So while, we can see in this column, we've actually exceeded the WIP limit. So we'll have to keep things flowing to establish the limit of 2, and then that'll continue smoothly going forward. All right. So with that, I think we know the instructions. So let's go ahead and get started on this simulation. What do we need to do?
Right.
Okay. Go on, Ines. Sorry.
So the 2 greens in the green, just to get out of the way.
Okay.
Or what do you think, 1 each?
No, I think 2 greens in the green. Let's get the finished over to the green, and we can work on that like later on, because that will go to 14 days, won't it?
Yeah. And then what, 2 blues at the top, as it's been 10 days already.
Yeah.
And then the other one there.
And the other blue on N as well.
On N?
Yeah, sorry.
So shall we pull this finished one in?
No, because we need to stabilize the system, yeah.
It actually won't allow us, I think. Yeah.
I think it
Yeah,
will.
it won't allow us because
All right.
okay.
And shall we unblock just both to unblock that thing quickly?
Yeah, let's do that. So we're going with the 2 people approach on each card, are we? Where we can. Is that our game plan?
Oh, I don't know. It could be.
Let's try that. Right.
Yes,
Let's do
try
this. Our policy.
One group down.
Okay, cool. So for better decision making, that was the same, yeah. So 2 green guys on Mr. Green. The blues
Can
on
we
the
pull
block.
this one?
Yes, yeah.
Well, now we can pull the red, the finished one in here. Okay.
Yeah. Should we get 2 blues on blocked?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. And then the other blue on
Yeah, go on.
guy.
Otherwise. Oh, nice. What's that block thing? All right. Oof.
Oh, cool. We're already reducing our cycle time, aren't we? Yeah.
The fix.
Okay, so again, that fix 53 has come into play. So we want to work on that and deliver it by day 53. Okay. All right.
Okay. But the challenge is clearing the red. So we want to stick with the same process, do you think? So 2 greens on.
Yeah, leave it as is, and the 2 greens just to finish that one. We can always move them to other things.
Yeah.
Go, go, go.
Yeah.
And the red on this one,
Oh,
And you only have one red block left. Should we move one of these meeples somewhere else?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
On
you're
the
the
Go
block?
expert.
on.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
it.
Things are moving. Things are moving.
Oh, it's so exciting. Oh,
Okay.
okay. We know
Okay, so the
chain
new
block.
technology called blockchain has come into our backlog, but we haven't cleared things enough to bring them in yet.
No.
So, all right. We
Ah,
have two blue finish. Shall I move that to
yeah.
green? Okay.
Yes. Oh, and
What
the
do you
flow.
wanna do now with the greens?
Well, I think we should still clear the greens.
Like one each or
No, I think we should stick with the original policy of
okay. Two.
11 days gets two greens. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So that's done. I know you're tempted by that new one.
Oh,
Look away from the light.
Ooh,
yeah.
Um, the finished red goes into blue.
Yeah.
Smash that out with a couple of blue guys.
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, might have over egged it on resource there, on skills, sorry.
One
Um,
red on the
Yeah.
blocked, or
yeah, one on that, yeah,
One
the
one.
first blocked, yeah,
and
1-1.
maybe we can have this person help here.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sensing that we're moving faster this time around.
yeah, I think we are. Very
No,
exciting.
good.
Yeah.
I want to see my SLA. Um,
All
okay.
right. So again, two greens in the green.
Yeah, we've got the finished 7 days that needs to move over.
Right. Shall we start the fix?
Yeah. Or which is more important, the
Mm.
fix or the chain block?
Difficult to tell with the information that I have.
Oh, actually, we
I know
can't
the
because we
fix
haven't
is more
finished.
important. Ah, yeah, that's true.
Oh, crap. Oh,
So we
sorry, we're
have
live.
to, we have shared, we've given some expectation of that we will get fix 53 done by day 53. We do have a few days, but maybe we need to get it started. Chain block is important, but we haven't given any particular date by when it'll be done. So, but we don't have
Okay.
any space to bring them in yet. So I
Yeah.
think we need to clear the deck first.
So
So should
So
shall
we?
what do we want to do?
I think we put one more person on the blocked red. Do you think a blue on the blocked red, and then we
mm,
get a blue on the green because that's
yeah,
got nobody on it, and
good.
Okay.
three people is just too many for something.
All right.
Yeah.
No, very good, that blue in the green. Look at that. Good job, people.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Oh, bad news.
Now we have an
Oh,
outage
goodness
that
me.
is high priority. Okay, so let's clean up the board and then decide what we need to pull in. So I guess we can move the red to
Mhm.
red
Yeah.
finished.
Yeah.
Move the yeah.
Okay. So now
Let's.
we have a choice of pulling in one of these.
I mean, the fix is the out. How long do we have for the outage? Is
Yeah,
it
the
just we?
outage is highest priority.
Yeah, let's just do
Let's
that.
just get that guy in. Yeah.
Okay.
And what we putting?
Should
One
we
blue,
put?
one red.
Yeah, yeah, or a couple of reds just to get it done, just in case we only roll a one.
Okay.
All
Or
right, you don't want to finish that one that they
well,
started.
And then
yeah,
maybe
Shall we
have a
finish
green on
the greens?
this,
Yeah. Yeah.
two green, two blue on the blue.
yeah, and then a blue on the red. Is that?
Yeah, go on, let's
I don't
try.
know if
Go,
that was
go,
a
go.
good decision.
There's an outage, no time for decisions.
Yeah, but we've only finished four cards. How is that? Oh no, we
No,
haven't.
we're
They're moving.
No,
finished.
it's
Sorry.
clearing. We have
Oh,
finished
I
many
didn't
more.
realize that.
This was clearing.
Nice.
Okay,
Okay, let's
okay. We
get it
have choices
over.
now.
Oh yeah,
Oh, all right.
outage.
So
Uh,
timer went out. All right.
Oh,
oh.
But okay. How did this feel? Did you experience better flow than the first round?
I we got things finished quicker. But we did have we did have empty space, like where I feel like we could have improved the flow.
Yeah, we were not bringing things in,
Yes,
I don't think.
you're not bringing things in. But if you look at the actual data, it's likely that we were more efficient. We're probably able to reduce our cycle time on the done things. We were starting to really get that down. And there were quite a few things that were done. It got cleared. So from a data perspective, things were flowing much better than the first round.
Yeah.
I think we weren't able to get some of the new priorities in, but as things stabilize, with there's fewer things in progress, we will be able to bring new priorities in that much faster as opposed to having a lot of things in flight.
Mm. Yes, which is
Right?
obviously definitely better. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I noticed that we were making decisions much faster. What changed that helped us make those decisions?
We had a policy in place, didn't we? We had let's get 2 people on every job. I mean, I think I
Yeah.
forced that policy. It wasn't very collaborative like you would like.
But it was like we decided that we would go with that, and then we applied it, and we could try that something different next time. But it was a shared understanding of it, and it did help. It did help move things along. What
Mm.
else? Were you paying attention to some new things this time to make the decisions a little bit easier?
Well, the days that had been in
Mhm.
progress, and we made our decisions of higher stays, more couple of people. Yeah.
That's right. So that work item age is a really, really valuable piece of data that we can now use to make more confident decisions.
Mhm.
The older it is, it needs to get attention. Blocked items need attention. So now as we're managing that flow, we have certain things to be able to look at and make decisions much more quickly, collaboratively. So as you can see, Kanban is more than moving stickies on a board. But it's not that complex. There are just a few things to keep in mind. So in the Kanban guide, we talk about 3 essential practices that we need to engage in if we have a Kanban system in place. The first one is defining and visualizing the workflow. So you saw that on that board. We saw the actual flow of items. We defined some policies around it. We defined some shared understanding around it. And that's an essential practice when we want to implement a Kanban system. The second one is about actively managing items in the workflow. So we're actually looking at the data, we're looking to see what's happening, and we're engaging with each other to ensure that things are flowing. And the third practice is improving the workflow. So if I said, let's play again, we'd have a little retrospective to think about what we could do to make things even better the next time, to improve on those numbers, or to maybe reinforce some new flow capabilities that we have built, right? So essentially, just these 3 practices are what's important. And 4 flow measures for us to make data-informed decisions. The 2 work in progress is how many things that we have actively active at any point in time is one piece. And the second is work item age. And these 2 pieces of data help us manage flow. So just looking at those 2 pieces of data help us make quick decisions to get things moving. And the other 2 are throughput and cycle time. And throughput and cycle time are indicators to tell us if our flow is improving or not. So as you're making some adjustments, as you're making improvements to your workflow, you can look at this data to see whether you're moving in the right direction with the choices that you're making. And this is essentially what we need to remember. And now we can apply Kanban as a strategy to a variety of different situations. So I made a promise when I made this claim, Kanban is a great option for virtual teams. And I'm going to ask you, do you agree? And when we put out this description of this presentation, I made some claims of some things that we might learn today. So I want to ask you, what do you think? Is Kanban a great option for virtual teams? Does it enhance visibility and alignment? Tell me whether you strongly disagree, neutral, agree, or strongly agree. enables asynchronous collaboration, reduces dependency on meetings, enables data-informed conversations, supports continuous improvement through measurable feedback loops, creates freedom to design your system to fit your context and needs. So one of the things that Kanban does is because these essential elements are so few, it doesn't preclude you from bringing in other practices that you might have found useful from other frameworks or other techniques. And that's the beauty of Kanban. And I feel like once you're a remote first practitioner, there are certain things that we really value: autonomy over our time, right? But when we work, who we work with, and this gives us that freedom to do that. Flexibility, in terms of how we work, what new things what new improvements we might want to add to our system, etc. So I think it really benefits. It's a nice match to remote first team members. And I know that we are kind of at time. I have 3 more slides here that you can look at in terms of just a summary of how defining and visualizing the workflow really helps improve a bunch of different things that remote first teams might care about. And with that, I'm going to wrap up today's presentation. Thank you so much for inviting me. I teach this class along with April Jefferson. We have another publicly scheduled class coming up in October. But if there are people who are interested in the meantime, just get on the wait list and we can open up a new session for anyone who's interested. Right. Well, are there any questions?
Thank you so much. No, I don't think there are any questions. I think it was just a really enjoyable session, just having that, and it's so interactive. And yeah, I would encourage people to play that game. It's funny because I've played that game many times before, but it's very different when you're facilitating it to when you're actually in the game. So
Yes, it is.
thank you so much for joining us, Anjali. It was
You're
just
welcome.
wonderful to have you.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, we'll call it a wrap because we do promise to finish on time. So thank you very much. If you've got any feedback, do add it in the chat, and we'd love to hear who you would like to have next on the Virtual Agile Meetup. And yes, all the best, and thank you again for coming, Angelina. It was great.
You're welcome.